Today I am SHAELENE CAPUNO from BSc 1-2. I am here to explain what is victim precipitation theory and incapacitation theory. Let's go to our topic, which is victim precipitation. What is victim precipitation theory? Victim precipitation theory is the criminology theory that analyzes how a victim interacts with an offender that may contribute to the crime being committed. This theory is most associated with a crime like homicide, rape, assault, and robbery. For example, in homicide, in a group of friends, they are drinking because they want to bond with each other. While drinking, they argue about their political view and about politics. And this one friend argue with his friend who didn't drink. And they continuously argue about their perspectives and beliefs. And this one drunk friend got frustrated and angry because his friend didn't agree to him about his beliefs. So he killed his friend. Killed his friend because of his frustration and because of alcohol. So what is the victim contribution about this crime? Even though that the victim know that his friend is drunk, he continuously argue with him. And he know that his friend is out of his mind. His friend got angry because he didn't want to lose to his friend. So that is the contribution of the victim in that crime. So now we're going to tackle about brief history of victim precipitation theory. In brief history of victim precipitation theory, we can see that Wolfgang is involved in this, and this is his information. Why Wolfgang is involved with this? Because the phrase victim precipitation theory was first introduced by 20th century criminologist, which is Marvin Wolfgang, and his article entitled Victim Precipitated Homicide. In this theory, Wolfgang described the victim as the first in the homicide drama to use physical force against his subsequent slayer. Victim is understood to have precipitated the incident if he or she was the first to have resorted to physical violence. Wolfgang argued that victim precipitation is common feature of intimate partner homicide, especially in situation involving a female offender and male victim. Next is Hans von Hentig. This information, and he is a German criminologist who published an article entitled of The Criminal and His Victim. It focuses in the interaction between criminal and his victim. Hentig's work was the basis for later theories of victim precipitation. Victim precipitation suggests many victims play a role in their victimization. First, the victim acted during offense. And second, the victim instigated the commission of the offense. So let's move to the two types of victim precipitation. First, active precipitation. It refers to those situations in which the victim directly provoked the offender. According to victim precipitation theory, people may actually initiate the confrontation that eventually leads to his or her death and injury. And that is active precipitation. For example, rape with homicide. The rapist initiates sex intercourse with the woman, and the woman tried to defend herself, and she tried to harm or injure the rapist that she could run away. And the rapist or the criminals provoked to injured her or harmed her so that he could do whatever he wants. Due to and he injured her so much that led to her death. So that is the example of active precipitation. Next is passive precipitation. Is a person who is victimized because of his or her physical, social, or psychological advantages. For example, in our country, some people insult or criticize the bad people or chubby people because it's not their standard and for them it's disgusting. They harm or bully them, that person because of their physical appearance. The victim confronted them unknowingly because of their characteristic. So that is the example of passive victimization. Let's move to the three phases of victim precipitation. First is victim contribution. Victim contributed to their own victimization because of their characteristic. Next, victim proneness. This implies that some individuals have quality that make them more likely to become victim of crime. This can also refer to the fact that some victims are easy target. For example, young female kids or female got raped because they can't defend themselves. Criminals take that advantage to assault them or rape them. They are prone on this crime because they are weak and they can defend themselves. So that is the example of victim proneness. And last is victim provocation. Suggests that without the victim's behavior or action, the crime would not have been cured. For example, I ate at the fast food chain restaurant. I went to the CR and left my phone in my table. A person saw it and took it. But it was not his or her intention to take it. But he or she needed a money. So that person took it and went away. So, kung hindi dahil sa aking kapabayaan, o hindi ko iniwan ang aking cellphone sa aking table, hindi magkakaroon ng intensyon na kunin ang aking cellphone dahil sa kanilang pangangailangan. So, that is victim provocation. Without victim's behavior, hindi mangyayari ang crime. Next is victim precipitation are also victim blaming. Victim blaming is the valuing act that occur when the victim of crime or an accident is held responsible in whole or in a part for the crimes that have been committed against them. That's the meaning of victim blaming. But victim blaming is not the same thing as victim precipitation. The former tries to place some blame or responsibilities on the crime victim, while victim precipitation focuses on the relationship between a victim and an offender. So, victim precipitation and victim blaming is not the same. It's the last topic, which is incapacitation theory. Incapacitation theory assumes that the state has duty to protect the public from future wrong and harms. Incapacitation prevents future crime by removing the defendant from society. Examples are sent to prison, incarceration, house arrest, life imprisonment, or execution pursuant to the death penalty. It also to rehabilitate the criminals. The purpose of this punishment is to apply treatment and training to the offender so that he is made of returning to society and functioning as law-abiding member of the community. So this is their example of imprisonment. So that's all for my reporting about victim precipitation theory and incapacitation theory. I hope you learned something, and nag-iwan ako ng quote about motivation, theories. About this, if you can dream it, you can do it. Kasi kung naiisip mo o napapangarap mo, kaya mong gawin. Kasi kung hindi mo naman naiisip, hindi mo siya kayang gawin, di ba? So, always dream high and never give up. Thank you and have a nice day. What is victim precipitation theory? Victim precipitate. What is victim precipitation theory? Victim precipitation. That's all for my reporting. I hope you learned something or